Baseball Monterey, the biggest stadium in this country, seats about 27,000. Welcoming in the Dodgers and the Padres, game one of this weekend series. And of course, as Alana detailed, Fernando tossing out the first pitch just moments ago. Got a great reception. And the lone Mexican-born player on these two rosters caught it. Christian Villanueva got a really good hand. I don't think that was a screwball, though. Looked like it had kind of cut action to it. We are ready to rock. Take a look at the Dodger lineup, brought to you by 76 for this series opener. Looks like this. Chris Taylor to lead it off. Then it'll be Kike Hernandez starting at first base tonight as Cody Bellinger gets the day off. Matt Kemp is in right, hitting third with Grandal doing the catching. Barnes at second, Farmer at third. Alex Verdugo, whose grandfather was born in Mexico, he's in left. Tim LaCastro back-to-back starts in center. And Walker Buehler does the pitching for the Dodgers. Pitcher for the Padres is 24-year-old Joey Lucchesi. The rookie's been pretty good so far.
He has, looking for his fourth win, and he throws a fastball, a curve, and a changeup. You won't see the curve very often, but you might see some pitches that you think are curveballs. It's a churve. He has a combination curve and changeup that he has named a churve. It can break away from lefties. It can break down and in, of course, the same direction to righties, but he can turn his wrist another way and fade it a little bit.
Chris Taylor climbs in as the Dodgers look for their third consecutive win. And it is an honor to be here in Monterrey, Mexico. Dodgers and Padres, off we go with ball one high. Dodgers swept the three-game series against San Diego earlier this season. The Padres at 11-21 have the second worst record in the National League, 4-11 over their last 15 games. On a 1-0 pitch, Taylor looks at ball two. Closed captioning tonight brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel. Let's go back to what you're talking about in the pregame show, though. Got to take care of business against the teams you should beat, and the Padres certainly qualify as one of those. On a 2-0, Chris Taylor takes ball three.
You know, the Dodgers have to take care of their own house. They have to feel like we go out and just start winning series after series after series. That's how Arizona built their lead, and that's the consistent play that they need. It's not about winning 10 in a row or 9 out of 11 or some big run. It's about just nice, solid 600 baseball.
Lucchesi trying to find the zone for the first time and does. 3-1. That was a big series split against the Diamondbacks this week. At 4 8th inning yesterday to get a 5-2 win. You mentioned it, first time this season the Diamondbacks failed to win a series in their 10th. 3-1. Strike two.
If you think about what the Dodgers avoided, they avoided, if they'd have got swept, being 11 games out, and getting on top of that, having Corey Seager gone for the year and losing Ryu to possibly after the All-Star break.
Lucchesi, the 6'5" left-hander, threw his line and home with a payoff, and Taylor hits it foul.
Lucchesi is not going to overpower you. That fastball is going to be about 90-91 average, and then he'll drop it down about 11 miles an hour with the changeup.
Out of Newark, California, up in the Bay Area. Grew up an A's fan, going to games with his dad, watching Zito and Mulder and Harden during the Moneyball years. Brings another payoff and misses. Taylor's got a leadoff walk. And in a scoreless first inning, here's Kike Hernandez. Trying to get it going again. Kike 1 for 17 on this road trip.
He has good feelings against the Padres. He's 4 for 9 off of them this year with a double and a couple runs scored.
Out of the stretch for the first time. Casey's in there with strike one. Starting at first today. Third start that he's made there. Cody Bellinger getting the day off. That's a little bit high, and it's 1-1.
This Dodger offense has not had problems against the Padres in the 3-game sweep. They averaged 10 runs a game.
They outscored San Diego 30-10 in those 3 games in a sweep. Last 8 seasons, the Dodgers have beaten the Padres more than any other team in baseball has beaten any opponent. 88 wins the last 8 seasons. Taylor at first to start the game, and Lucchesi to Hernandez with a 1-1 that's nowhere close, and he's struggling to find the zone early.
When we get some action in the game, it'll be interesting to see where the balance of power is with the fan base here. Will there be just cheers for general baseball and great plays? Will there be cheers that overwhelm with Dodger fans? Or will the Padre fans rise up?
Hernandez lifts one down the right field line. Caesar won't get there. It drops in. Hernandez with a base hit that sends Taylor to third, and they're at the corners with nobody out.
Chris Taylor hesitated as the balls hit, but he continued to kind of grope towards second base because he could feel that it was going to fall. And once he realized it was going to, well, he was off and around second, headed to third.
And I don't know if the first set of cheers is an indication of if they're Dodger fans or if they just are excited to have a ball in play.
This ball falls in and the throw comes in, but Taylor with a great read and speed gets over there.
And this is an artificial surface. You could tell how big that bounce was. Over to Matt Caesar. First and third, nobody out in the first inning as Matt Kemp comes up. On the first one from Lucchesi, Kemp takes high, ball 1. You know, polls say that the Yankees are the most popular team in Mexico, but the Dodgers right behind them. Padres in those polls rank 8th as the most popular major league teams in this country. Kemp bounces it foul, a ball and a strike. Padres have had more Mexican-born players than any franchise, 23 of them. And they have the lone Mexican-born player on either of these active rosters at third base in Christian Villanueva. On a 1-1 pitch, Kemp pops it up. Perella can't find it. I'm not sure anybody can. And the Dodgers have taken a first inning lead. Nobody could find it against a very dark sky. And Matt Kemp with one of the oddest RBI singles he's probably ever had.
Matt Kemp, Alex Verdugo, and Tim LaCastro just took notice of that. And I'm sure everybody on the Dodger team, the conversation on the bench now is help everyone when the ball is in the air. It's like they dropped it out of a helicopter. They were looking for it.
Boy, not a single one of them had it spotted. And then it came tumbling down, and the Dodgers have a 1-0 lead with men at first and second. Still nobody out.
With the threat of rain and it being so humid here, it's almost like the lights are reflecting off the water vapor in the air, and it makes it a little hazy with this sky.
Brings up Grandal. Just glad that they got this game started, because coming into the day and throughout the week looking at the forecast, it didn't look like a sure thing.
The locals are not really confident in their weathermen. I walked across the street with Dana to the mall to go eat lunch, and all of a sudden we're with some locals, and they knew that we were with the Dodger team. And I said, oh, I hope we don't get any rain. He goes, oh, 80, 90%, it'll be fine. He goes, we don't know our weatherman.
2 on, nobody out, and Lucchesi to Grandal with ball 1. I'm not sure the weathermen determine what weather apps talk about, though.
Exactly,
right?
that's
Should they
true.
trust
You're
their
right.
apps?
It could be that just different microclimates here with the mountains and different things, so there'll be areas that put the baseball field in the dry area.
Grandal digs that one off of the deck. Villanueva steps on the bag and throws across for a double play. So Lucchesi gets the first 2 outs of this first inning. Up to second goes Kemp.
Disappointing at bat for Yasmani, who has hit so well for the Dodgers this year. Been one of the major run producers, and nice situation with first and second. With the double play, the back end of what he was thinking.
So a 2 out, here's Barnes. It is first home run of the season yesterday against Arizona off Patrick Corbin. Takes ball 1 from Lucchesi. Not just his first homer of the season, but his first hit in more than a week. They're continuing to put in a lot of work with Turner Ward to get that swing right. Hasn't quite felt right mechanically yet this season. Takes it low, and it's 2-0.
I just wonder if the irritation in his arm that slowed him down in spring training, that probably cut back on reps as far as hitting, and also in-game reps as far as facing major league velocity and breaking balls. So it might have led to some bad habits.
He's ahead 3-0 against a laboring Lucchesi. That's a strike, 3-1.
Casey's thrown 19 pitches, that being the 20th one there, and only the 9th strike he's thrown.
Here's a 3-1. That's a strike, 3-2.
I hope the wind we're hearing isn't the storm coming in.
Yeah, I can see a little bit of rain starting to fall too out in front of those lights. Or is that the lights reflecting off the dew like you're talking about?
Yeah. Flags are starting to ruffle a little bit.
Runner at second, 2 out, and a payoff pitch is taken high. That's ball 4. Second walk of the inning issued by Lucchesi. And it's kept alive for Kyle Farmer. Farmer had what at the time looked like a key error yesterday that allowed Arizona to take the lead, but in that 4-run inning drove in a run of his own. And here he takes ball 1.
It was a rough hop on that error. Get a little visit here.
Lucchesi, 4th-round draft pick in 2016 at a Southeast Missouri State. Only pitched a season and a half in the minors before making his major league debut. Never even above Double-A. Was the first pitcher from that 2016 draft to reach the majors, where he can camp with the team, and he's been by far their best starter so far with a sub-3 ERA. Put everybody else together in the rotation. Their ERA is above 6. The 24th pitch of this first inning is taken low. 2 balls, no strikes on Farmer.
A 26th man was allowed for the Clubs traveling here to Monterey, but it was a position player.
Breivik Valera for the Dodgers. On a 2-0 pitch. Farmer takes a strike. Well, the Dodgers, not a good team to have a hard night with your command against. They chase less than any team in baseball. And in this first inning, it's led Lucchesi to having to throw more than 25 pitches. Couple of walks, couple of hits. A 2-1 pitch. That's high, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike.
His pattern of misses is not one where he can all of a sudden say one tool will fix it. It's not like he's been wild low or wild high or wild arm side consistently. He's all over the place, groping for something that he can repeat.
Farmer in a hitter's count. Here comes a 3-1. That is the 3rd walk of the first inning issued by Lucchesi. And the bases are loaded for Alex Verdugo. We take a look at our Land Rover Performance Spotlight. He played for Team Mexico during the WBC last year. His father's parents are Mexican-born. So because of that, was eligible to play for Team Mexico. Really enjoyed the experience, played well, hitting above 350 in the 3 games. And one of the main attractions on this Dodger roster because of it, coming here to Monterey. Fouls off the first pitch.
You got a hanging curve. It's the change-up curve combination. One of the more impressive things about this young man is how calm and professional he is in the box. But when he decides to swing, it's a full swing. You barely get him to check swing or be hesitant in between like a lot of young hitters. It's a very sharp read on the ball out of the pitcher's hand and which way he's going to go.
It's a big at-bat early in this game. Dodgers with a chance to really make Lucchesi's struggle with command hurt him. Only 1 in the bank so far, but the bases loaded and 2 out. A 1-1 to Verdugo. Slashes it foul, 1-2. Had 4 hits against Arizona this week. All 4 of them were doubles. And starting in left field in this series opener. Two out, bases loaded in the first, and a 1-2 pitch. Fouls it again.
And Alex Verdugo's early time here, he has really rarely been fooled. And boy, he is looking like he is locked in right here, even though first time he's seen Lucchesi. Left on left situation, and it might as well be a right-hander that's throwing it dead straight.
Kemp at third, Barnes at second, Farmer at first. There's ball 2. As he bends back on a fastball. First inning has been an issue for all the Padres starters this year. 33rd pitch of this first inning for Lucchesi is a 2-2 to Verdugo. Bounced up the middle. Pereira's going to get to it. His feed to second is in time, and that ends the inning. They're going to say, hold on, we'll take a look. Dave Roberts asking Bob Guerin to get on the horn and See what he thinks. Taking a look at the replay there to see if Farmer perhaps got in safely.
That angle, it's kind of bang, bang.
Sending Buehler out. They say play on. Dodgers get one, but only one to the bottom of the first in Mexico. First time tonight. Here's their lineup presented by 76. Jose Perella to lead it off. Then it's Eric Hosmer, who's been on a tear lately. Christian Villanueva hits third. Cordero, Lopez, and Caesar in the middle. And then Galvis and Margot down at the bottom. Against Walker Buehler, who's making his third major league start. And it begins with a fastball for strike one at 96.
Got his first major league win in game one of the doubleheader with the Giants. The Dodgers scored an awful lot of runs for him, but he pitched very well. You're going to see a very rapid fastball out of the young man. He's touched 101 and averaging a little below 97.
Perella hits it foul. No balls, 2 strikes. You know, the first inning has been kind of the outlier for Buehler through his first 2 starts. Averaging about 30 pitches in the first inning. After that, he averages around 15 pitches per inning. And the thing that changes is the velocity goes down. So he's been averaging 98, 99 in the first inning. Tones it down to 96, 97. And snaps off a breaking pitch to get Perella for the first out of the night. And when he's dialed back on the velocity, that's when he's been much more efficient.
Yeah, and it's just a mindset change. It's setting the mindset from adrenaline as hard as you can to let's hit the spot first. The velocity that he has naturally is fantastic. He doesn't need anything extra. He could really pitch at about 80 to 85% effort level.
Rain's coming. Rain's here.
Yeah. We didn't have much warning there.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't give you any warning. That's a strike on Hosmer. I'm like a local weatherman, according to your friends at lunch today.
When the Dodgers decided not to pitch Clayton Kershaw down here, I think it had a lot to do with the possibility of rain. Also wanted to give him a couple extra days rest, so you get a combination of reasons why you make decisions on your roster, on your lineup, on what's going to happen. And I think just every decision the Dodgers make, they weigh all of it, even down to the detail of what's the possible weather.
Obviously, the other thing, Arizona coming in next Tuesday, he'll start against them. And at this point, you prefer to have your ace go against the division leader as opposed to the Padres and the cellar. At 11 and 21. A 1-2 and a fastball at 98 buzzes him for ball 2. Eric Hosmer red hot here in his first season as a Padre. How about this? In his last 34 plate appearances, He's been on base 21 times. It's a soft bouncing ball to second. That's Roston Barnes is playing tonight. 2 up and 2 down for Buehler.
It's been very nice to watch Walker Buehler pitch up here. Get his first win. This will be his 3rd start. And it's really been kind of a soft landing for him. He got to pitch against Miami, San Francisco, in San Francisco, not an offensive park. And then now here against the Padres. But this stadium is a little bit, you know, it's full dimensions, but the ball seems to carry real well here. We'll see how the rain and the wind affects that.
Christian Villanueva with 2 out, takes ball 1 low. But yeah, but another low-tier offense.
Exactly.
Marlins, Giants, Padres, all in the bottom of baseball. And it comes to runs per game. So easing Buehler in. Defensive swing, fouls it off 1-1. Facing the big star this weekend here in Monterey. From Guadalajara, Christian Villanueva. It's the National League Rookie of the Month. So it's not just that he's from Mexico, but he has, in a lot of ways, been the Padres' best hitter so far this year. 2-1.
Walker Buehler, since coming up here, has become more of a fastball slider pitcher compared to last year and in the minors, where he's a little bit more fastball curve. But finding that the big league hitter, like Clayton Kershaw, had to make an adjustment. Doesn't really offer it the curveball. You can use it as a put-away pitch, but if you don't land it consistently for a strike, the hitters up here really don't even offer at it. They don't want to hit it. So Clayton then moved to a slider also, and Walker making that adjustment a little sooner than Clayton did.
Took Clayton a couple years to add in that slider. Fastball, pop foul. We'll do it again. Boy, I don't know if you saw that ball fly right up in front of us. It struck me how dark it was surrounding the ball.
Gotcha. Of
you know,
what
we
they
saw
struggled with in the first inning.
Matt Kemp's RBI single, nobody could find it. Let's see why. Fastball blown by him, and Walker Buehler with his best first inning in his young major league career. After 1 in Monterey, the Dodgers in front 1-0. This weekend series, including a fan fest around the ballpark where kids got to come and take part in sliding drills. There were batting cages. Look at these rising fastballs, though. Slow down. No speed pitcher. Nice play. Kids of all ages, I guess. And there's Dodger Stadium on display.
A little bit of a museum out there to show people where the two teams came from. It was a 10-piece band humming along down there as we walked up the ramps on the outside, getting ready for a lot of people to pour in the stadium so they could have a party about an hour, hour and a half before the game started.
8-9-1 here in the second. Tim Locastro made his 2018 debut yesterday. First one from Luke Casey is a strike. This city loves its baseball. There were even rumors when the Expos were leaving Montreal that Monterey was trying to woo them here, as opposed to where they wound up in Washington, D.C. That's it, foul, and it's 0-2. Been 2 regular season series here before. 1996, Padres played the Mets. That's the series where Alana told us prior to the game Fernando Valenzuela started the first game for San Diego. And then the Padres and the Rockies played opening day here in '99.
When you watch Luke Casey's mechanics, you see a lot of Clayton Kershaw. The outstretched arms over the head as he begins his windup just to kind of get set with his posture. And then you'll kind of see a secondary leg kick at the bottom. Not quite as deceptive and as hesitation move as Clayton, but he still does it. That's more Clayton from his stretch. And then leg kick goes up, down, stop, and then go.
So it's probably not going to surprise you when I tell you that his favorite pitcher is Clayton Kershaw.
I was leading you there.
Thanks, partner.
I knew that.
Good job.
I'm going to stick to the baseball mechanics, and you could do the history.
So he's picked A.J. Ellis's brain about Kershaw and what's made him great. Boy, about knocked the hat off his head with a windup there. Gets his first strikeout of the night. As Castro is out number 1. But A.J.'s told him all about Kershaw's preparation, his between-start routine, and then just the way that he carries himself on a day-to-day basis. And 24-year-old, very hungry to learn. And A.J. Ellis has appreciated that about him.
When you stretch your hands above your head the way Luke Casey does and Clayton does, it's a great posture check. You stretch up like that. People will teach you with posture to pretend like a string is being pulled onto the top of your head. Lift your arms down to your side. You got a chance to like slouch forward or arch your back, but it really gets everything in line, and then you can flex down into where you want to be.
It's like yoga on the mound.
What position is that? With your hands up over your head. It's like a candlestick.
I like it.
You just go there.
1-1 on Walker Buehler. Good take by Buehler. It's not one of the Warriors, is it? One of the Warrior positions. There's like 8 of them, so it's a safe bet.
I've been to a yoga class, but I was outside the door, so I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear what they were describing.
Just wanted to go buy some yoga pants. You didn't want to actually do the class.
Shopping for my wife.
2-2. Well, that herky-jerky delivery of his, taught himself that when he was in high school, and it's part of why Joey Lucchesi was not recruited by anybody coming out of high school. People didn't know if it'd be repeatable long term. This is the same look that he's had since he was a high schooler. He's home with a 2-2. Buehler fouls another.
It's kind of Alex Wood's story.
Right.
The scout that said, please, after they signed him, do not change him. It's that abrupt hip and shoulder separation where the ones that look more conventional and we can say the pretty delivery that just very much out of the Spalding guide of how to deliver a baseball separating, they do it smoother, but Alex Wood here and Lucchesi, just a kind of a jerking motion to separate and go.
Chopper to short, Freddie Galvis. 2 out. Yeah, the other thing was that he didn't have very good grades in high school, and so there weren't any 4-year programs that were willing to take him on with the combination of the weird delivery and the academics being below par. So he went the junior college route, but walked on. So from a junior college walk-on to a 4th-round draft pick just a few years later.
And to be the first one in that draft to get to the big leagues.
Exactly.
That's a pretty special climb of the ladder.
Walked on in junior college 2012, redshirted. So he didn't even pitch in college until 2013, and here he is debuting in the majors 5 years later. Delivers a strike to Chris Taylor. He's beating the odds at every step. Making the team as a walk-on at the junior college level, then transferring to Southeast Missouri State. Undrafted as a junior, 4th rounder 1 year later. Reps and a curve 0-2, and you can start to hear the rain on some of the microphones down there. It's really coming down.
Yeah.
It's raining on their party, Oral.
They will push it as far as they can, but they don't want to risk injury to the players.
0-2. Taylor hits a high drive to left center field. Chris Taylor through the rain and gone.
All we need is lightning. Chris Taylor to be up there, hit it through the rain and be like the natural. Where's Robert Redford? We got the whole scene working here. He is so good, like Justin Turner, Yasmani Grandal, at taking a low pitch or something near the heart and elevating it.
So the 5th of the season for Chris Taylor has the Dodgers in front 2-0 here in the 2nd. And now Lucchesi to Kike Hernandez with strike 1. Boy, I don't see this going too much farther.
I don't think they'll worry about hitters in the little bit of rain dropping off their helmet. It's the playing surface, and we've got AstroTurf, but it's the dirt areas, and especially the base paths, the batter's box, and the pitching mound. And the first place usually you see it is on the mound because it's used so much, and there's a tendency to slip there on your landing leg. The next place, of course, the batter's box gets so sticky and slippery as the guys stride there. Guys in the infield, you don't see how bad it is for them until the ball's hit to them. You
Right.
see them burning rubber trying to get to it.
Plus, you guys on the mound, you're kind of temperamental creatures.
Well, we are kind of high maintenance.
Right.
I'll come clean. We're very high maintenance. We're like golfers, you know. We're pulling out the little pebbles out of the way, and we're getting our feet set, making sure there's no clay in our spikes.
Yeah, who put this pebble here? Who's trying to derail my outing?
Seriously, it's upsetting my balance on my. So I come up with my leg. It's like Princess and the Pea. Can't have that pea under 8 mattresses. I'll still feel it.
Two-two. Okay, had a single in the first inning after he went hitless in Arizona. Finally feeling better 1 week after he had that stomach bug in San Francisco. His was not sushi induced. Like Alex Wood and Cody Bellinger dealt with on the previous trip to the Bay. On another 2-2. Hernandez takes it in the dirt. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Already 51 pitches thrown by Joey Lucchesi.
Change the pelotas. Get some dry ones. I don't know the word for dry in Spanish.
I'm not the one
Can't
to help
help
you
me.
with that. Nope. A payoff. Hernandez strokes one way back to left field, and they've gone back to back. A no-doubt shot for Hernandez, and a 3-0 lead for the Dodgers.
Kike, one of the 3 Dodgers that have had great starts against the Padres with their 30-run production in the first 3 games. And with Kike, this ball is up, and he crushes it. Just gets enough of the barrel. Looked like it was near the end of the bat, but the complete ball was still on the bat. But he and Matt Kemp and Yasmani Grandal have done well against these Padres in the 2018 season.
How about the top 3 in the orders so far in this game? They've reached all 5 times, scored all 3 runs. Matt Kemp drove in the first one of those runs. First pitch, curve, ball 1. Ball 2. At what point does the rain become an issue with your grip?
You can guard it a little bit. I'm really surprised he doesn't have sleeves on, and if he still continues in this game, maybe put some sleeves on in between innings. They help a lot because they absorb the moisture, but when you have no sleeves, it starts dripping down your arm right into your glove and onto your hand.
It's muggy, though.
I was a full sleeve guy no matter how hot it was. I don't think I pitched maybe 1 big league game without sleeves, or a couple innings. I don't think I went, because I didn't want the hitter to see my wrist, so he could tell what grip I might be having or the angle of my hand, so not to see the wrist bone. And then I also liked the fact that if it was cold, I wanted the long sleeves, and if it was hot, I wanted the sleeves to absorb the moisture.
2-1 to Kemp. That's in for a strike. 2-2.
We did not have all the fantastic materials that are now produced. It's like the dry fit stuff and the stuff that keeps you cool or keeps you warm. But that came along later in my career. We were used to just cotton sleeves or wool sleeves. The wool ones, when they get wet, they would stretch. I got rid of those in a hurry. I went to cotton.
Went to Coogee.
Yeah, went Coogee. That'll be May 12th for the alumni game at Dodger Stadium, 4 o'clock. Come on out there. That's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's also a hat, 60th anniversary hat giveaway. So you get 2 games. I don't think ours will be a complete game. Complete game in the alumni game is like 2 innings.
Right.
Quality start is if you can get through it quickly. There's nothing about runs, or if you can just throw strikes to cause action. That's a quality start.
Here comes the payoff to Kemp. And he cracks his bat on a roller to Galvis. That's that for the Dodgers in the second, but they get back-to-back home runs against Lucchesi. Came into the inning having only allowed 3 home runs all season. Then Taylor got him to make it 2-0. And Hernandez followed with a bomb of his own. To the bottom of the second we go. The middle third of this Padres order with a 3-0 lead. We were talking about how hard it was on the fielders to see that pop-up that fell in for an RBI single for Kemp. If the lighting is an issue, it's not going to be any fun trying to see 98 as a hitter.
It is not. Luke Casey on the other side, he maxes out at about 91. Walker Buehler has tried to establish the curveball so far tonight. Hasn't thrown as many sliders, but sometimes you get a feel for one pitch or the other, even though your percentages and the stats show that you throw one more than the other, that in particular outings you can all of a sudden vary that because of touch and feel, and maybe even a lineup that you're facing.
Here comes the 1-1 to Franchi Cordero, and it's a fastball to 97 for strike 2. Two very talented young players facing off here. Cordero, a 23-year-old rookie, loaded with tools. On a 1-2, takes ball 2.
Walker Buehler really frustrated about his pitch count, even in the minor leagues, but here tonight, really showing a mature rhythm on the mound. And he has really started to pay attention to detail on the mound. You were teasing me about prima donna and kind of high maintenance. I described myself. He's becoming high maintenance, and really watching how his foot goes onto the rubber, watching how his leg kick affects that foundation, because you stand on one leg for a living. Think about it. You kick your leg up, you stand on the back leg, then you plant as your other leg comes down, and you land on the front leg, and that is totally your foundation of your delivery. So he's gotten very particular about what's going on in the lower half.
He walks Cordero to start the second, and now Rafi Lopez, rookie catcher, takes a strike. Yeah, career high 94 pitches in Buehler's outing in San Francisco last weekend. 34 pitches in the first inning. So after that, he was much more efficient. Carried that on to the first inning tonight. Ball on a strike on Lopez.
Yeah, it's interesting if your pitch count gets out of whack, but you still throw up, let's say, 5 scoreless, but you have to come out of the game because your pitch count. You go back as a pitcher and you look at your mindset and your mentality, and you look at how you went about your business as far as statistics and strike throwing ability. And if you can throw a strike 2-0 to get back into counts, to not walk people, then why not have the mentality of the 2-0 pitch on the 0-0 pitch? Because it's good enough. If you're getting it by in the 2-0 pitch and they're swinging or they're taking it for a strike, that should be your initial pitch.
Two and two, and he said that as the game went on in San Francisco that he started to take that approach, trying to beat guys with location instead of trying to beat them with velocity, because when you have that much velocity without even trying, you don't need to.
Average fastball for the starting pitcher is probably somewhere around 91, 92. He's in the top 6 in the big leagues already.
Uses 98 to get Lopez for his 3rd K.
So his average velocity is already supreme as far as a big league level. That makes him a very special talent. The next thing that makes him special is he can spin the ball on top of that.
1 on 1 out. Here's Matt Caesar. And that slider of his had one of the tightest spin rates in all of baseball last year. Fastball fouled off, 0-1.
And it's not always completely about arm speed, because we have seen guys that throw mid-90s that can't spin the ball. And they can't figure out how to have the hand discipline and the grip pressure to get it done consistently. Some of them can spin the ball and only pull it down into the dirt, so that's when they have their best pitch, but it doesn't function at the big league level just to spin it and make it break or have great break when it's a ball. But to be able to spin it, come up with the timing and the hand discipline and the wrist action at the end so that the ball ends up down by the knees when it lands or in the dirt.
His 0-2. Very defensive swing from Caesar just to stay alive at 95.
Caesar has definitely an awkward approach here.
That's Cordero at first and 1 out. Another 0-2. This one in the corner for strike 3. And Buehler with 4 Ks over his first 5 outs tonight.
We're used to seeing Walker Buehler with 30 pitches still be in the first inning, but 1 out away from finishing off the second. And this fastball in the outside corner with a very strong hand. Yasmani Grandal held that one in there.
We talked about the soft landing they've gotten, them facing the Marlins and then the Giants and now the Padres. First one to Freddie Galvis, a breaking pitch for a strike. Padres have the highest strikeout percentage of any team in baseball. Struck out 45 times in the 3 games against the Dodgers in April. Out of the fastball and a generous high strike, 0-2.
It's a little reminder of the Milwaukee game when the Dodgers were striking out all the Brewers last year.
Last June. Kershaw game, extra innings win. Here comes an 0-2. Galvis is sitting there saying, man, it's 98. It's hard enough to hit as it is, and you're going to give him a strike at the letters, and it's dark out. I can't see the ball. The lighting in here. After the leadoff walk, Buehler trying to strike out 3 in a row.
And players are going to be very patient with the conditions and the weather. They understand how special this is for the fans of Mexico. They understand how much Major League Baseball is reaching out internationally and loves to take care of the people that love the sport.
0-2 again.
We haven't seen either manager come out and want to talk to the crew chief about, you know, do you think we can continue? They understand that they're going to do their best.
It's going to get a little bit muddy. Cordero's at first with 2 out, and another 0-2 will come after a throw over there.
One slip on the mound, and that's when you'll see Dave Roberts, because Walker Buehler is such a huge commodity, and anybody that's on a big league roster pitching the big leagues and all the prospects in the minor leagues. And that will be the final straw for Dave if he sees that.
Galvis pops it into center field. Let's see if Tim LeCastro can find it. He does. And that's the inning. Leadoff walk, but then down in order. We're through at 2 in Monterey. The Dodgers lead at 3-0.
Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Dodgers home screen icons and features such as MLB.TV, Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today.
3-0 Dodgers back here in Monterey as we get ready to start the third inning. Joe Davis, or Hershiser, and Alana Rizzo. But 120 miles from the border. We're south of Texas here. Now Yasmani Grandal ready to lead this inning off. The Dodgers getting 1 in the first and 2 in the second against Joey Lucchesi. First pitch of the inning is an off-speed pitch in there for strike 1, and we have a very special guest with us. The Commissioner of Baseball, Rob Manfred, joins us. Rob, we appreciate you coming through the rain. I can see some sprinkles on the shoulder. And
it is raining out there right now. I can verify that for you. Unfortunately, it's raining.
That said, what a special weekend it is to be able to bring Major League Baseball here to Monterey.
Yeah, really, it's been an exciting time. I think that, you know, I was out and about in Monterey all day today. Really great buzz, particularly a buzz about the Dodgers being here. You know, it's really important that, you know, we rotate among our franchises with these international events, but it's always great to have one of your iconic franchises with you on a trip like this.
It seems like really the perfect 2 franchises to have here, with the Padres and their proximity to Mexico and all the ties the Dodgers have in the country.
Yeah, well, hats off to, you know, Ron Fowler and the Padres and Mark Walter and the Dodgers for willing to do this. We do think they're the perfect 2 teams to have here for this matchup, and to have the level of cooperation we've had from both clubs, just absolutely phenomenal.
We're getting some cooperation right here from the players because they're being very patient with the weather. We know how special this is. The organization, MLB, the Players Association, and they will push this as far as they can as long as it's safe for the players, which is fantastic for the fans.
Right. You know, I was down. I saw Justin Turner down in the clubhouse, had a chance to talk to Eric Hosmer down there. And, you know, our players with these events always show tremendously well. They're cooperative. They deal with the little things that are different than when they're at home, what they're used to, the normal routine. They get out in the community. They do events for us. I can't say enough about the kind of cooperation that we get.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Grandal, starting this third against Lucchesi. His next one is taken at the bottom of the zone for strike 3.
You know, I think that originates, of course, because everybody loves baseball. And then, of course, at times the negotiations are there and they can get some angst. But there's been such harmony in the labor also. So not only there, but you go over the top when something like this happens, and you have teammates that it's a special game for, too.
You know, it's really interesting. We did a couple of games in San Juan earlier, and there were 2 native Puerto Rican players on each team, and they showed for all the community events. But what I thought was the greatest part of it is their teammates kind of showed up in support, and it's what you're talking about, Oral. They kind of bond around the activities that are going on, the fact that it's a little different than their normal routine, and that's tremendous for the game.
We had that happen. Yeah, we had that happen with the Dodgers with Yasiel Puig with some of his off-the-field issues. Now all of a sudden they want to get him involved in the community. He had a poker tournament. It was like the whole roster showed up to say, Yasiel, this is the way we want to go about our business.
That's right. That's right. That great bonding experience. But you know, I think the important thing is the Players Association understand how important it is for us to take the game places where people don't have a chance to see it every day. Some of those places like Williamsport and Fort Bragg are domestic. More usually it's someplace internationally, and that's an important factor in putting us in a position where we can really grow the game.
You may get kids who become lifelong Dodger fans or lifelong Padre fans just because they got to come see the game in person tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, when you walk around this stadium, pregame. Now there's ponchos out, unfortunately, but a lot of Dodger gear being worn in this stadium.
Yeah.
You can tell that there's a real fan base here, and you know, obviously going all the way back to Fernando. So it's great of the Dodgers to be there.
Barnes hits a bouncer back to Luke Casey. Throws a wet ball for out number 2.
You've been in the commissioner's office for a long time, now at the top. And I remember our days together when I was a player and going internationally out. Has anything changed as far as goals for international or philosophy since you've taken over?
Well, you know, I think one thing that's changed in terms of philosophy is I think we are more realistic about the need to have our very best franchises show for games. We want to pick, you know, early on I think it was about, you know, who can we take where the replacement cost isn't too high, whatever. We're kind of past that. We're fortunate there's money in the game, makes everything in life easier. But to have a matchup like this, or to take Cleveland and Minnesota, where they have 4 native Puerto Rican players to Puerto Rico, picking them for their appeal in that local market is something that's we're a lot better at now than when you and I were doing it at the beginning.
Oh, you know, we were crossing bridges that we'd never crossed before.
That's right.
As far as all the different components you need to bring Major League Baseball to a remote area.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. I think in terms of goals, you know, the fundamental goal of growing the game remains the same. I think one thing that's changed a little bit, we are focused on the idea that over the right period of time and after certain issues that we have been resolved, we'd like to be a 32-team league. We think that it creates some opportunities for us. And when you start thinking about expansion beyond the 30 great markets that we have right now.
And outside U.S. and Canada.
That's right. You start thinking maybe Mexico would be a possibility.
How do you go across the pond like the Pacific without 2 or 3 teams over there?
It would be hard to do that. I think travel would have to change, you know, be just faster than we're able to do it today. But, you know, the worst kept secret in America, we are going to play in London next year for the first time. And that's the beginning of a process of evaluating what's there in that market. Is there something that we should be focused on over the long haul?
What was that like trying to find facilities in Europe to play in?
Facilities are difficult. You know, soccer stadiums, I've learned this, do not convert well to baseball.
It'd be like the Dodgers going back to the Coliseum.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. They don't convert well. We'll use Olympic Stadium in London. It'll configure fine for baseball. But, you know, facilities are always a challenge. One of the great things about coming here to Monterey, this is a nice facility here.
Yeah.
It's a really nice facility here. And I think that it's an advantage to be able to come into a real baseball park. I was down in both of the clubhouses. The players were
they
very
did an amazing job.
They did a great job.
We saw a lot of the pre-pictures, knowing we were coming here,
Right.
and what they were starting with and what Major League Baseball and the local facility here has done. And the players were blown away. They walked in all smiles.
Yeah, there were actually a player who shall remain nameless said, you know, this visitors clubhouse is better than 1 or 2 that we deal with on a regular basis.
I know exactly where they're talking, but we don't have to mention
We don't
those
have
places.
to get into that either.
We'll do a Twitter survey later.
Player stays nameless, clubhouse stays nameless.
That's right.
Where did the commissioner, what was he hinting toward?
Kyle Farmer takes strike 1 after they get that mound fix. You mentioned the possibility of expansion. What kind of timeline have you put on that, if any?
I haven't really. I think that what I've been saying about it, what I think is true, we need to get Oakland and Tampa resolved from a facility perspective before we bite off another big project. Both of those markets have made some progress in the last few months, and you know, we're hopeful that progress continues and we get an answer in both of them and can move on to more growth.
It sounds like the goal is 32 teams, not let's make sure that we have 30 healthy.
Well, I mean, I think sequentially, I would say we want 30 healthy. I mean, that's the issue with both Oakland and Tampa. We want to make sure that we have viable franchises.
That's going to do it for this 3rd inning, Rob. We really appreciate your time. I know this is a busy weekend for you. Likewise.
Really good to see you both.
Special weekend for Major League Baseball. Rob Manfred, a big part of that. Middle 3-0.
It is. It's back to almost the early sprinkle that, as you warned us so quickly that the rain was coming and then it was here. But I'll tell you what, as long as they can get the surfaces so that the mud is not slippery, and then also that it doesn't cake on your shoes too much. So they've done a nice job on the batter's box and where the catchers have to squat down, and now on the mound, of course, too. And players are being very patient, and so are the managers, and they're going to get this one in. I think we'll play at least 5, and I think they'd even play through the rain through the night as long as it's safe.
Walker Buehler has walked a man through his first 2 innings, but that's all, striking out 4. And he didn't waste any time settling in tonight like he kind of did in his first 2 starts.
He did not. Took the mentality of the 2-0 pitch for strikes right away in the 0-0 count. Took the mentality of thinking about precision over power. And that kind of mentality for me is going to be something that he's going to use the rest of his career. Until 98-mile-an-hour fastballs turn into 95, and then they turn into 93, and he's 42 years old, and he's going for his 300th win. That's what he should go with.
Right. That sounds like a good plan. I'm sure he would agree.
Yep, he'll take it.
He starts Manny Margot with a fastball for a strike. 8-9-1 for the Padres in this third. Dodgers didn't see Margot when they played the Padres earlier this year. He was on the DL with bruised ribs. Breaking pitch has looked sharp all night. 0-2.
The other thing that enhances your command is confidence. So if you can get a new plan, new mentality, start throwing strikes, getting ahead, or it starts to relieve the tension in your arm. And when it's free and easy and athletic, it is so much easier to repeat than having that little bit of tension of aiming in there. The first MO gives you like about a foot and a half of good release points, and the other one gives you something like you're trying to throw a dart.
One ball and 2 strikes. And a battle of 23-year-olds here. Buehler against Margot. It's in his second full big league season. Down on strikes with a sharp breaking pitch. Already the 5th K for Walker Buehler.
That curveball is devastating. If it continues to develop from a pitch that he can only put hitters away with to one that he can pop a strike with, hitters are going to be in trouble.
Joey Lucchesi, the opposing pitcher, stands in there. Here comes Buehler with a low fastball.
Good way to keep your pitch count down is to make fast work of the opposing pitcher.
Falls behind him 2-0 here. It's easy to forget that Walker Buehler didn't make his professional debut until August of 2016. We're not just talking big league debut, his pro debut. It's less than 2 years ago. First round pick in 2015, but soon after that had Tommy John surgery. And so he had 3 games in late 2016, but that was it. It's a strike 3-1. And so last year was his first full pro season. Started at an A ball, finished it in the majors. He walks Lucchesi.
I remember when he was drafted and then came out to Dodger Stadium to be introduced to the LA media and got to tour around a little bit in the front office, came down for batting practice. I sat on the edge of the Dodger dugout leaning against the railing with him, and we had a very nice conversation talking about his surgery and the rehab coming up, and also just about his career at Vanderbilt. And I think that I was so impressed with his poise, and he was very articulate even then. And it was like, okay, if this arm gets healthy, this guy could be special.
Second time through the order for the Padres, still looking for their first hit against him. Jose Pereira struck out on 3 pitches to open the game, and here he takes ball 1. Buehler faced live hitters less than 1 year after his Tommy John surgery. First time that he threw live batting practice, he touched 98.
Less than a year? Wow.
It was harder than he'd ever thrown at Vanderbilt before the surgery. That is not the norm. Yeah, that's kind of a wife's tale that you come back throwing harder.
Well, some people do, and they seem to get the advertisement. And the reason they do is because that ligament might have been in trouble for a long, long time, so their velocities go down. But now when you get a healthy ligament in there and the arm is held together. But do not get a healthy ligament repaired. Do not even just get an irritated ligament repaired. It is not going to increase your velocity, make you a better pitcher. You need to rehab that, get it better. But that rumor out there, I know some of our top doctors in Major League Baseball have had parents come in and say, you know, my son's got a little tenderness. He only throws about 84. Do you think if we do the surgery, he'll throw 88, 89? And I'm like, no, please. The doctors are like, no.
Back-to-back walks here. For the first time today, he's struggling with command. First and second, one out. And Eric Hosmer coming up in a 3-0 game. Rick Honeycutt's first visit.
Setting the table for Hosmer with a couple of free passes is the wrong strategy, of course. He is their predominant offensive threat and their hottest hitter right now.
Plate umpire John Tumpane out to break it up. Guy that they called Kentucky Slim when he was at Vanderbilt. Bluegrass Slim. From Lexington, Kentucky. 2 on with 1 out, and here's Hosmer. Best opportunity for San Diego today. '28-year-old in his 8th big league year. First one in San Diego. Looks at a first pitch slider for a strike. Big contract. Biggest of the offseason across baseball. And the Padres signaling that this is the man they want to rebuild around. So they are not ready to be competitive yet. But the length of the contract is one that will have him as part of the group when they are competitive, if it goes as planned. Buehler quickly back in there. He's ahead 0-2.
You have to be a complete ball player, citizen, great in the clubhouse, have part of your personality be a lot of leadership capabilities. And the Padres have said this is the guy.
Well, this is the guy who, after the Royals won their first postseason series in 30 years, a couple of years back, he tweeted out that he was at the bar in downtown Kansas City, and any Royals fan that wanted to join him could. And he opened up a tab for the whole town. $15,000 bar bill.
Wow.
After 1 hour.
Then he decided to go home.
Let's close it out.
He didn't have too much. He just had enough.
They had too much,
yeah.
Right? Pokes one to third. That's Farmer. That's 2. And Buehler's out of the trouble in the 3rd with a double play, sending us to the 4th and a 3-0 game. on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Jack in the Box. Try the new Cholula Buttery Jack, part of the Buttery Jack family, only at Jack in the Box. Back in the city of the mountains, Monterey. Haven't been able to see those mountains too well since the team arrived because of the weather. It's been overcast at least and raining for a good chunk of the time the teams have been in town. Top four, the Dodgers lead at 3-0.
This is not the 7th inning stretch, but we have full bore as they are getting the surface manicured again. A lot of the diamond dry that they use. And again, just an example of the patience and how important these games down here in Monterey are. The ground crew doing a fabulous job to get the field ready before the game, and now continuing on here.
In the 9th largest city in Mexico. It falls somewhere between Dallas and San Jose when you're looking at the overall size of it. Is that kind of how it felt to you riding through town today? And
it felt big.
Right.
And I was very impressed with how some nice areas really just continued on and on and on.
One of the wealthiest cities in Mexico. Very well regarded when it comes to technology and kind of the Silicon Valley of Mexico.
I mean, within 3 blocks of our hotel, there's a Bentley dealership, a Mercedes-Benz dealership, a BMW dealership. I was walking around a little bit. And it was pretty amazing to see all of the luxury items that are so close and a couple different malls. They picked a very nice area for us to stay.
City that was founded in the 1500s. Site of the first large-scale battle of the Mexican-American War in 1846. The leading technology center in the country. Joey Lucchesi trying to get ready on that mound, make sure that he's comfortable. The rain has died down, but it's fallen heavily enough the last half an hour or so that it's taken some pretty good doctoring to get it ready. Dave Roberts' team trying to win its 3rd in a row. Get back to within 2 games of 500. Going through a stretch here where they have a chance to make hay of these 3 games against the Padres, who they swept the first time they saw them. They'll have 4 with the Cincinnati Reds next weekend. Have you checked the Reds' record lately?
I have not checked lately, but I know they're on pace to lose an awful lot of games.
They're 7-24.
Oh boy.
So they will qualify as a team you should beat as well, with a 2-game series with the Diamondbacks sandwiched in between next week.
Yeah, that would be sweet if you could project out that far mentally as a team, but you can't. You've got to take it 1 day at a time, 1 inning at a time, 1 pitch at a time. But as fans, we can project out and say it would be a great time to get hot.
Looks like Lucchesi's happy with the footing on the mound, and he delivers to Alex Verdugo, strike 1.
And we're seeing with the fans too, the ponchos are starting to come off. The rain doesn't seem like it wants to come out of the sky anymore.
One ball, 1 strike on Verdugo. Who's a Tucson native, but with Mexican roots. Here's Lucchesi's 1-1. Slaps it foul over the Dodger dugout, 1-2. His dad Joe's parents were born in Mexico. Mom's side from the Midwest.
His parents are staying with him at the hotel. Saw them today in the lobby.
This is a heck of a trip for him. Got to go to Phoenix, about an hour from his hometown, and then this trip here.
He has had his eyes open to the big league lifestyle very quickly.
The 21-year-old lifts it foul.
He's going to get a very good equipment deal if he continues to hit the way he is. I mean, he's got every apparatus possible for a hitter. The shin guard, the custom shoes. He's got the base running guard in his back pocket. He's got the Gold chains on. He's got it all.
He might get a deal with an oven mitt company for that base running glove.
Yeah, exactly. And he's not afraid to make sure that those items are colorful.
Strikes out here on an elevated fastball, one away in the fourth.
Only his second strikeout since being here in the big leagues. That's one of the things that he has been very good at, making contact and having very solid at bats. We haven't seen him swing at many balls out of the strike zone.
So Casey's fourth. And it brings up Tim Locastro. Strike one. We've been talking about that curve that Lucchesi has coined it. That pitch started out as just kind of a bad circle changeup that he was throwing in junior college baseball. Then started toying with different grips, different wrist actions on it. Gets a swing and a miss on that pitch here for strike two. That was while he was at Southeast Missouri State, and he found something that he liked. And came up with the name last year while he was in the minors. His buddy Eric Lauer, who is also in this big league rotation now and is scheduled to start Sunday, watched the pitch and said, "What in the world is that?" Sure doesn't look like a changeup, because he was still just calling it a change. And so together they coined churve. 1-2.
It's interesting, even in charting, when people chart pitches, they say this is what this is, but then you go to the player and you ask him, what are you throwing? Oh, I have a fastball, curve, and a sinker. And then you see the charting, it's fastball, slider, sinker.
Right.
They come up with their own thing.
Castro yanks one down the line towards the corner, and fair. Bounces into the seats. Castro's got his first hit of the season, a double.
With his speed, anything in the gaps or in the corners to the left side is a sure two-bagger. If he hits it to the right side, he might have a possible triple.
And not just his first hit of the season, but his first hit as a big leaguer. Played in those 3 games last year, but had just 1 at-bat. Was mostly a pinch runner. So congratulations to Tim Locastro. One away for Buehler. Bounces one off of the plate. Lucchesi for the second out.
So how about the trivia question someday on where did Tim Locastro, what stadium did he get his first big league hit in?
Good luck with that. I'll give you 31 guesses.
Only
if you
people,
get 31, you might get
only
it.
people in his family will know the answer.
So a 2 out. Here comes Chris Taylor, who took Lucchesi deep his last time after walking in the first inning. Okay, the Dodgers need to get going. Came in with an on-base percentage below 280. Put that in perspective. The major league average is around 320. And usually out of your leadoff man, you'd like something above that. On this 1-0 pitch. Swings through it, strike one. Dodgers, though, not overly concerned at this point about him. A lot of the underlying statistics say that Taylor's fine and that he's trending in the right direction. There's not been any change in approach necessarily, any change in the quality of the batted balls. And some bad luck sprinkled in there. Coming inside with a 1-1. Taylor takes it for ball 2.
You think about the Dodgers over the last few years, really searching for who could be the leadoff hitter. You know, it was going to be Andre Ethier. He gets hurt, and it's got to be Chase Utley, and now we don't have anybody. Now you have Chris Taylor, but you also have guys on the roster like Alex Verdugo could turn into that possibility. Tim LeCastro out on second base could turn into that possibility. So now they're starting to find alternatives to that solution. And depending on how Chris Taylor's bat pans out over the next few years, he might end up being a middle-of-the-order hitter. He might end up being the two-hitter waiting for Corey Seager to come back when Justin Turner then comes back. So I think you're going to see some ability from Dave Roberts, even though he likes having a bona fide leadoff hitter, and maybe even the top 3 or 4 hitters are almost always the same. You're getting some chances to have alternatives.
Takes this one low and away to work the count full. And really, it's those borderline pitches that have tended to stack up against him. He's taken a lot of strike threes. Not been too many, though, that have been right down the pipe. There've just been kind of an inordinate amount of good 2-strike pitches made against him. Scott LeCastro at second with 2 out. Here comes a payoff from Lucchesi. He'll do it again.
The 2 solo home runs off Lucchesi, and then the ball that was dropped in because it was hard to find in the sky. So, you know, it looks like he's not pitching well with the elevated pitch count, but pitching around some tough times other than those 2 solo home runs.
Pitch count getting up there, though. This is his 88th. It's another 3-2. And it's strike 3. Looked like it was farther down and away than ball 3 was. That does it for the Dodgers in the 4th inning. They lead at 3-0. T-Mobile presents Hats Off for Heroes, because no matter where you serve or when you served, T-Mobile stands ready to serve all military families. Ball 1, and away we go in the bottom of the 4th. Buehler's walked 3, but the Padres still without a hit against him, as their best hitter leads off this 4th inning. 1 ball and 1 strike. The native of Guadalajara, Mexico. He's one of 14 Mexican-born players currently in the majors. Made his big league debut last September after 8 seasons in the minors. Originally signed out of Mexico by the Rangers. He was blocked by Adrian Beltre, so he was happy when they traded him to the Cubs. But the next year, the Cubs drafted Chris Bryant, and he was blocked by him. Pops this one up. That will get out of play, and it's still 1-2. So then he signed a minor league contract with the Padres prior to last year. Had a huge season in AAA. And in a couple of weeks in the majors last September, hit 4 home runs. Waits on this 1-2 from Buehler. And yanks it to deep left field, sending Verdugo back. Able to make the catch, 1 away.
Celebrate Justin Turner's 2017 NLCS game-winning 3-run homer on Wednesday, May 9th when the Dodgers host Arizona. Be one of the first 40,000 fans in attendance at Dodger Stadium and take home a Justin Turner walk-off home run bobblehead. Presented by State Farm. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Franchi Cordero with 1 out, bases empty in the 4th. Looks at strike 1. He's one of the raw young players the Padres are excited about. Want to see what they've got. The 23-year-old rookie's off to a nice start this year. We talked about him in April as kind of a StatCast darling. 4 of the 18 hardest hit balls in baseball this year have been from this guy. Only guy that's hit more balls that hard, Giancarlo Stanton. That's the kind of company that Cordero's keeping.
That's some bat speed then.
At the longest Padres home run since they've been tracking things on StatCast. That goes back 4 years now. In Arizona a couple of weeks ago. Buehler strikes him out with a fastball. And 2 away in this 4th.
Walker Buehler has done a nice job locating his fastball. That has set up the breaking stuff, and the command of the breaking stuff is what I have been really impressed with so far. Over 50% of the curveballs have landed for strikes, and 6 out of 7 sliders have been strikes.
2 away in the 4th. The rookie Lopez takes ball 1 high. Rafi Lopez wearing number 0.
Is that a number?
First time in Padres history somebody's worn it. It's a number. It's a digit.
It's a lack of number.
That's true. You could argue that too. 19th in Major League history to wear it. 2-1.
Al Oliver must have wore it.
He did. He was a Dodger for a year. He wore it more than anybody. That's a good note by you.
Well, it's because I played against him, and I thought it was odd to see it in the batter's box. I'm going to have a chance to get a number 0 out.
Now, I wonder if he did it for the same reason Adam Ottavino does it.
I don't know.
There's the O at the start of his name, Ottavino. He couldn't have names on the back of his jerseys as a kid, so he thought 0 was kind of his initial. A way to have a bit of his name. 3-2. I wonder if there's any kind of connection with Oliver for that.
Don't most guys that wear it go with it because they had the last name O? I don't know, have a list in front of me, but I would think that most of the guys would have an O at the beginning of their name.
Yanked to right field. Matt Kemp is going to put it away. That does it for the Padres in the 4th. Walker Buehler's not giving up a hit through the first 4 innings in Mexico. Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer. Get incredible deals on a stylish new Corolla. Back here in Monterrey, Mexico, where the Dodgers have a lead on the Padres into the middle innings. Joe Davis, Or Hershiser, and Alana Rizzo. First of 3 between the teams this weekend. I think it's already a small victory that we've played 4 full innings of this game on a day where it didn't look good to get any of it in.
Fantastic job by the ground crew, the players being patient with the umpires, the 2 managers, and also the fact that Major League Baseball was thought about having an artificial surface field, only having to worry about the dirt areas. So nobody has looked like they are risking anything as far as health issues.
Hernandez to lead this inning off against Luke Casey, whose pitch count has really gotten up there in a hurry. 89th pitch opens the 5th and misses low. Now, Kike had 1 hit on the road trip coming into tonight. Tonight he's got a single and a homer. The 1-0. Ball 2. A pop-up. Let's see if Lopez can find it. Oh, he does, after a little stutter step. It's probably easier now that you don't have to also battle kind of a gray sky. It's pitch black at this point.
And raindrops coming down in your face. That one was up there a long time to be looking up there. With no rain, that was good.
Earlier in this game, Matt Kemp, who's ready to bat here, was the beneficiary of those gray skies and the rain falling. Hit a routine pop-up that fell in for a base hit and right to bring home the Dodgers' first run. The old Padre takes ball 1. Kemp was traded to San Diego for Yasmani Grandal. After spending his first 9 years with the Dodgers, 1.5 years with the Padres, 1.5 years with the Braves, and then back to the Dodgers this offseason. Takes strike 1.
With all the injuries the Dodgers have had, Matt Kemp is an extra pleasant surprise. Not somebody that they have to play, somebody they want to play. The way he has played and helped lead this offense.
Rips this one to left field. Cordero's got it.
He hasn't been a defensive liability either. He's played well. Solid defense. We haven't seen any bad routes, and we haven't seen a strong arm. And the speed is there.
Part of that is he's in much better shape. Part of that is the advanced defensive positioning the Dodgers have. And they think, too, part of that is the buy-in and the want to now that he's on a competitive team. 2 out for Grandal. One and 0. A bit of a rough patch for Grandal. That's kind of corresponded with the rough patch for the team. Yasmani's last 10 games hitting below 200. After he carried him for a good chunk of the first month. Waits on this 1-1. Swings through it, strike 2.
The potential in the production has always been there when he's hit from the left side. Great at hitting the low fastball and elevating it, but the advancement in the offensive skills this year have been from the right side against left-handed pitchers.
Hits this one hard, but right at Galvis. And Lucchesi able to battle tonight. At least 5 innings worked for him. We're halfway home in Mexico with the Dodgers in front, 3-0. Venezuela, the youngest of 12, born in Navajoa, Mexico, 1960. Started playing the game when he was 13. They'd play once a week on Sundays. And at that point, more than it being about Fernando loving the game, it was about him having an excuse to play with his older brothers. He had 6 of them. There's Fernando with Pepe and Iguez on the Spanish television broadcast. On the first pitch, Matt Caesar bounces out to Walker Buehler for the first out of the 5th. Well, the Padres still looking for their first hit against Buehler, but the elephant in the room is that this is somebody who, for the first time as a pro, his last time out exceeded 90 pitches, and tonight is already at 71.
Dave Roberts dealt with that with Ross Stripling, and I don't think Mr. Buehler will be coming out of the game because of effectiveness. He might come out because of the pitch count.
Here's Galvis with 1 out. There's been a lot of talk, understandably, about Buehler's role this season, when they can take the leash off and kind of just let him go as part of the rotation and still have innings left over in October. That's the main thing, is lining it all up so he does have enough bullets to contribute at the biggest time. Through 98 2/3 last year. The year before that, through 5 innings total. The year before that, he didn't pitch because of Tommy John. Galvis flips it foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So you still have a while where you've got to pay attention to his innings and likely monitor those innings in the minors before you can take the reins off and say, go as deep in the game as you can, pitch every 5th day until hopefully the end of October, early November. As far as an innings number, it's hard for anybody to put an innings number on it.
It's not an exacting science. I'm sorry, Joe. It just, in some ways, sometimes it frustrates me as far as the workloads and in some ways how we baby guys. But I think the Dodgers have compiled enough information to really make that educated guess.
And Andrew Friedman will tell you what they think is best now may not be the case next year. 5 years from now, we're going to know a whole lot more about how to take care of the arm than we do now. But all you can do right now is operate based off the information you've collected. They're doing their best to proceed with all that in mind.
I think you are so right, and I think they are right in their approach. But ultimately, you're only as healthy as, you know, your weakest part. And if the weakest part ends up breaking, or the place that you're abusing on a daily basis to do your sport, and you take care of your body as best you can. One of the things I've noticed is, and thinking about through it, is you can't strengthen connective tissue. And so getting stronger and having good solid mechanics, and if you have a delivery that doesn't put as much stress on your arm in certain areas, then it's not stressing that connective tissue, then you got a very good chance.
He's got his 7th K of the night as Freddie Galvis sits down, 2 gone in the 5th. He's got likely at least another inning in him tonight, assuming that he can get this 3rd out in reasonable fashion. That's a new career high for him. Just misses with ball 1 to Manuel Margot. It's one of those where I think probably the player squaring altered the umpire's judgment. It's a strike, 1-1.
Lack of solid contact from the Padres. Yes, the velocity, but the command of the off-speed stuff tonight.
Nice stop at 3rd by Kyle Farmer. And 5 no-hit innings for Walker Buehler tonight to the 6th in a 3-0 game.
Backstage Dodgers, Cody Bellinger retraces his baseball roots at his family home in Arizona. Plus, Bellinger is mic'd up in San Francisco 1 year after his Dodger debut at AT&T Park. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers, presented by Cadillac, right after the game on the post-game show on Sportsnet LA.
Adam Simber comes on, replacing Joey Lucchesi as we go to the 6th inning. And he's had a good season as part of what has been the biggest strength for San Diego, and that is their bullpen.
He's kept his walk total down, and his strikeouts are above his innings pitched, so he has been very effective, and he has a funky delivery.
Pinch hitter opens this inning. Chase Utley hitting for Austin Barnes. And taking a tailing fastball for a strike. Simber to Utley with a 1-1 that's pulled foul, and it's 1-2. Dodgers getting 3 against Lucchesi early. They got 1 in the first before he'd recorded an out. They got back-to-back home runs in the second from Taylor and Hernandez. Two and two.
Simber mainly sinker slider, but he will take that, that two-seam fastball and ride it up around the shoulders to change your eye line.
Yanked down the line. That is a fair ball for Utley. And extra bases to open the 6th for the Silver Fox. Not content with 2. He turns it into a triple.
Little bobble down there in the right field corner from Caesar, and Chase Utley with his head on swivel made sure that it was just going to be a double, and when he saw the bobble in the corner, he decided I can continue on. Ended up to be a little bit of a close play, maybe a little bit too close for comfort, but don't put always into your brain that it's a slow track.
Kyle Farmer takes ball 1 low. Kyle, who had an error yesterday and a tough hit ball, had one heck of a stop for the final out of the 5th at 3rd. On a 1-0 from Simber. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Rides in on him, line back to him. 1 out on a nice play from Simber.
I don't know if he caught the ball or the ball caught him, but it was well done as far as the reaction time and getting a glove on it. Ball starts to get in on Kyle Farmer, but he pulls his hands in so well. And that had a little slicing action right there to the glove side. Stanley Cup playoffs going on right now. Glove save and a beaut.
Verdugo with a man at 3rd and 1 out. Swings and misses, strike 1. Hard to beat Stanley Cup playoff intensity, isn't it?
Yeah. You see both basketball and hockey see the intensity really ratchet up in the playoffs.
If you could pick one or the other, what are you going with?
Wow.
Basketball or hockey?
Oh, to watch?
Yeah.
NBA basketball I would still pick.
Would you?
I would. In the playoffs, yeah. But NHL hockey in the playoffs is ridiculous as far as the intensity and what they do and the shift changes and the hitting, yeah. But I like to see basketball played at that full intensity of where they're really participating and intense on defense. You really get to see how good they are on offense. Then it's that loose defense a little bit because of the schedule and the regular season. It seems like just a shooting contest a lot of times, but when they're playing that up close defense, pretty good to see the athleticism.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Alex Verdugo with the infield drawn in after Chase Utley's leadoff triple. Simber brings him a 1-2, and he takes it for ball 2. Well, that sidearm delivery of Adam Simber, he's been throwing like that since he was 13 years old. At the suggestion of his father. Fires at 2-2. Verdugo fouls it off. At that point, he was a shortstop who happened to have a low arm slot. And he was playing catch with his father one day, just in a park near their home. And his dad said, hey, humor me. Go through a windup and throw sidearm. And it had a really special movement to the ball, really unique movement. So he took it into a game that summer. Nobody could touch it. And he's stuck with it for the decade since.
I like his set position, how he hides where the hands are to the hitter.
Verdugo smacks an opposite field RBI single. And the Dodgers lead at 4-0.
Alex Verdugo continues to impress. Almost like Justin Turner, where we see runners in scoring position and Justin's mentality is, I don't need to be anxious. The pitcher's the one in trouble. And Verdugo seems to have that same type of mindset in the box. And it's a possibility of getting an RBI.
And now Jock Peterson gets his first opportunity of the day with the right-handed pitcher on the mound. Dave Roberts sends Peterson up there for LeCastro. One ball, no strikes. Now Peterson had a pinch hit opportunity yesterday and struck out. Before that, he had reached in 9 straight. And is the rare player, even at this point of the season, even at just a month into the year, that has more walks than he does strikeouts. Simbers 1-0, ball 2. Just waiting for the power to come. And check swing tapper foul, 2-1.
A good look at the track out there, dry dust. Jock Peterson on that check swing. Padres hoping for that ball to carry him forward, but went gradually back. Kept Jock at the plate.
Shows bunt, takes a strike with the overshift on. And it is a drastic shift. There's nobody to the left of traditional shortstop. Walker Buehler's on deck and will hit for himself. He's thrown 81 pitches at this point and has not given up a hit through 5. Again, his career high, 94 pitches, was thrown his last time out. Peterson strikes out, 2 away. And here comes Buehler. Strike 1.
Always fun to not get many at bats and then face a guy who comes from the land down under. Didn't expect him to be swinging at the very first pitch.
And he's shown an ability to make some contact, fight off some pitches.
He's a pretty good athlete. I think he's going to be a good bunter. I think he's going to be able to make contact up there and put the ball in play.
On this 1-1 from Simber, he gets a ball that hits Verdugo, and it robs him of his first major league hit. And so that does it for the Dodgers here in the 6th inning. And Buehler can't believe it. He's got bigger things in mind, though. Headed back to the mound, having not allowed a hit through 5. Our Arco top tier plays of the night. Looking at Walker.
Striking out guys like that and keeping your pitch count down. Everybody knows what great stuff he has. But as the command comes, we're going to continue to see performances like this one.
9-1-2 coming up. Javi Guerra, his major league debut here, takes ball 1 on the 82nd pitch of the night from Buehler. Two 2-0. Padres still in search of their first hit. They've hit a couple balls hard. Last out of the 5th inning. Great play at third by Kyle Farmer. It's been a couple of line outs. Comes a 2-0. Just misses 3-0. That's a strike.
Probably still thinking about it. Could have had my first big league hit. He's got to lock back into pitching.
And you say you noticed he asked for the ball kind of half jokingly.
Yeah.
He offered 3-2.
Catch a break there, but when you can top out at 101 and average around 97 miles an hour, you'll get hitters starting early and hitters counts.
He strikes out Guerra to open the 6th. His 8th K. Now 87 pitches, 1 gone. And that is how Javi Guerra is welcome to the major leagues. 3rd time through the order now. Jose Pereira, who's walked and struck out. Strike 1, fastball swung through. Third major league start for Walker Buehler. And it has been his best. Slider taken for a ball, 1-1. another. Took it again. Buehler still working with a good tempo. Perella trying to slow him down a little bit. Steps out, now back in. 91st pitch of the night is a 2-1. And it's bounced gently left side. At short, Chris Taylor throws him out, 2 gone.
This right here, I think Walker Buehler did get his first hit. I should have had this on the spot. The ball passes the first baseman, so the interference is recorded out at second for the 3rd out, but Buehler is credited, I think, with a hit.
So he does get his first career major league hit.
Maybe he wasn't jokingly asking for the ball. He knew the rule better than I did.
Here's Hosmer with a roller to short. Chris Taylor's got it. 92 pitches in 6 no-hit innings. 93 pitches now. Not a whole lot of suspense. You know how the story is going to end with that young arm of his. 4-0 after 6.
May 13th, when the Dodgers close out the series with the Reds, the first 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a Mother's Day cosmetic bag, compliments of Cedar Sinai. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Here we go to the 7th with the Dodgers in front 4-0. And Kaz Makita comes on, really struggling in his first year in the majors.
The Padres are going to go through some growing pains like this as they search for people to do well in their bullpen or their rotation. It's part of a rebuilding process.
Strike 1 on Chris Taylor. Tony Cingrani, by the way, has started to warm in the Dodger bullpen with Walker Buehler at 93 pitches, 1 shy of his career high. That's in there for a strike in slow motion, 0-2. Question isn't as much, will Dave Roberts give him a chance to complete? It is, will Dave Roberts send him out for the 7th? It's 1-2. Taylor strikes out swinging for the first out of the 7th.
Up fastball, and gets it by him above the belt.
First pitch misses up to Kike Hernandez. It's fouled off, 1-1. So the Padres still without a hit through 6. Here in Monterey, first regular season series here since the 90s. In a baseball-loving city. A lot of that goes back actually to a Little League team from here. In 1957, a group of kids from Monterrey, Mexico won the Little League World Series. They were the first international team to do that. Strike 3 on Hernandez, quickly 2 out. Nikita's first inning of work. And this is a shot we showed a couple of days ago, but their victory tour after winning in Williamsport began with a stop at Ebbets Field to watch the Dodgers. In the championship game of the Little League World Series, their guy threw a perfect game.
Wow.
Angel Macias, who's 5 feet tall, 88 pounds. It's a strike on Matt Kemp. And to this day, it is still the only perfect game in Little League World Series championship game history.
He had a good breaking ball that day.
Yeah. You called that one for ESPN?
No, I didn't call it, but I went back and watched it.
High spin rate on it.
Oh, yeah.
2-1 on Kemp. Beat the team from La Mesa, California. Years later, he would sign a pro contract with the Angels, pitch in their minor league system briefly. And then came to the Mexican League and played for years. Always carried the nickname Champion Child. Angel Macias, perfect game in the Little League World Series championship.
I hope he went back to Williamsport to see it. It's a special place. If you're a huge baseball fan, it has to be on your bucket list.
Kemp waits on this, drives it to left center. Cordero's there. And that does it for the Dodgers in the 7th. We stretch. We'll see if Buehler gets another inning or if he hands it off to the bullpen. Innings where he strikes out 8.
Got a chance to go 2-0 in his first 3 starts in the big leagues. Been doing that in LA, San Francisco. He's got to do that now in Monterrey, Mexico. He's building quite a resume and a reputation for himself. And with the injuries and Rich Hill and now Ryu, he has filled in admirably and been fantastic.
And Tony Cingrani will try and keep things going for the Dodger pitching here, with the Padres still in search of that first hit. Facing the heart of the order with a 4-0 lead in the 7th.
Tony has an outstanding fastball and that sweeping slider. And when he has struggled, it was a little bit with the dead arm, and that affected the command and the velocity. And that was really the warning sign that the Dodger staff said all of a sudden there was something wrong with him. He wasn't complaining, but they noticed the velocity dropped down around 90 miles an hour. And they wanted a little visit, and Tony came clean and said, yeah, I need a little help. I need some rest and some therapy.
2 balls, no strikes on Christian Villanueva. So Walker Buehler taken out after the 6 no-hit innings at 93 pitches. And Dave Roberts has had tough decisions before, like when he had to pull Ross Stripling out of his major league debut, like when he pulled Rich Hill out of a perfect game. This one was not particularly difficult. Dave didn't have much of a decision with a prized young arm, having reached the doorstep of his career high.
I think that you're so right compared to those other 2. And not that Ross Stripling at the time wasn't a prize arm, but it was not somebody with all the hype around it. Even when Dave did that one, and it was hard for him to do to Ross, Ross's parents saw him the next day in the lobby of the hotel and said, we thank you, sir, for protecting our son's arm. And Ross Stripling has been a very valuable asset to the Los Angeles Dodgers since that great outing.
A pop-up, 2-2. Well, when you start thinking about them trying to get the job done combined, it's happened 12 times in Major League history. Most recently, 2014, 4 pitchers combined for the Phillies against the Braves. Dodgers and Padres have both been on the losing end of a combined effort. That's high, full count. Dodgers in 2012 against the Mariners. They used 6 pitchers that day.
Bullpen started to turn it around in Arizona, especially after the Ryu injury. And then the last game in Arizona where they salvaged the split, the bullpen was good again, and now they get a little bit more responsibility here today to kind of put another notch in their belt of they are recovering and ready to contribute in a big way. Finish off the no-hitter.
Three-2. Villanueva fouls it again. Now the Dodger bullpen had that stretch where they give up 23 runs in 21 innings, but only 2 runs in that stretch you're talking about over the last 11 1/3. Kenley Jansen putting together a better stretch, pitching 3 consecutive days, so not available tonight.
Got his first clean inning.
Villanueva to left center. Jock Peterson in the game now makes the catch. And Jock one of several guys playing different positions. Peterson's now in left. Kike Hernandez is in center. Alex Verdugo's in right. Chase Utley, after pinch hitting for Austin Barnes, has remained in second. And this was a double switch that brought Cingrani in. Cody Bellinger's now at first.
Padres have had a few Adam balls tonight that have kept the 0 in the hit column for him.
Franchi Cordero takes ball 1 low. What do you think? 7th inning, squaring to bunt.
Culturally unsound.
Even if it's not part of his game. He has 4 of the hardest hit balls in baseball this year. He can run, though.
1-0 would be a better time that you could do that through the whole game. Oh, we're going to try it twice now.
He is one of the fastest players in baseball. So I don't know if that changes the equation at all.
I think you play the game if you're the team that's down and getting no hit, and I think you get upset about it if you're the team with the no hitter going. Amazing how I can actually loosen up and say no hitter about 3-4 times in this inning, and I don't even feel bad because now it's just been downgraded to a combined possibility.
It certainly does kind of change it changes the levity. It adds levity.
It's freeing.
2-2. And different guys have different ways as far as broadcasters of approaching that.
My approach, I won't even say our approach because I'm the one that's been saying it, would probably be okay if they can finish it off, but I'll probably get hammered. It doesn't bother me. I talked to the one I had that was at a significant level, which was college. I talked about it the whole game to my teammates and everything. Hey, I still got it going.
Tries to lay off, and that thing gets him on the hand. Should be ruled a foul ball. Cordero's walking his way down towards first. Home plate umpire John Tompain said, hey, just so you know, you've got to come back here.
I heard wood, but was it hand first?
Was it part of his swing?
Yeah. Not everyone has their hand completely on the bat. Some players have their small finger, their baby finger, kind of over the knob a little bit. We're going to take a look and listen back in New York, see what they come up with.
So they are on the headset. You know, on the topic of jinxing no-hitters, Vin Scully was always a big proponent of we have a job to do, describing what's happening, responsibility, and to think that what he as a broadcaster was saying could affect these professional athletes on the field, that wasn't something that he was willing to do.
I think he was completely accurate.
Some of his greatest work, some of those Sandy Koufax no-hitters in the 9th inning of the perfect game, where he's consistently telling you what's going on. You'd hate for somebody to tune in and not realize what they're watching.
I cannot remember, but I wouldn't put it by Mr. Scully if he said, tell your neighbors, call them, turn the TV on or get the radio on. Something special is happening.
And they've got confirmation from New York that this is a foul ball. Yeah, good look at it there. So still 2 balls, 2 strikes on Cordero. He's got to go back in the box.
The impact of the ball on the bat and the vibration can make it feel like it hit you.
Cingrani to Cordero with a 2-2, and he misses low, full count. Didn't miss by much, but it is a walk. Padres with a 1-out base runner. Their 4th free pass of the night. And Rafi Lopez. So I checked for you how many of the 19 major leaguers to wear number 0 had a last name starting with O. What would be your guess out of the 19?
I would guess 12.
It's only 4.
Wow. Way off. Wonder how they all fell in love with the number 0. Or if the other numbers that were available were none that they liked, and they said, okay, we'll go back to the beginning. Can't have my favorite numbers, go back to the beginning. With me, it was I had to go up. They gave me 55, kind of as a borderline player on the roster, and ended up making the team. And they said, you know, do you want another number? And the ones they were offering, I really didn't have any connection to. And I said, I now have a connection with this number. This is the number I made it to the big leagues with. So I kept 55.
2 balls, no strikes on Rafi Lopez. What'd you wear coming up? Or did you have a favorite number as a high schooler?
27 and 15 were my 2 main numbers as I was playing.
3-0.
15 at the big league level isn't usually a pitcher's number, and 27 at the time when I was coming up was Joe Beckwith for the Dodgers. And so had 55, and then as Don Drysdale became my mentor and a great friend, and then I left the Dodgers, and with the Giants, they wanted to give me 55, and Sean Estes had worn 55 the year before and had a great rookie year. But they still gave it to me, and I was just getting ready to buy Sean a gift for letting me wear the number, and he was doing terribly.
Back-to-back walks from Cingrani, and the Padres are something brewing here in the 7th.
And I found out being around him that he was kind of a sensitive guy, and I said, you know what, I don't need 55 here in a Giants uniform, and 53 was available, so I took 53 in honor of Don. And gave 55 back and saved some money. I didn't have to buy a present.
All right. 2 on, 1 out, and Matt Caesar to the plate in a 4-0 game that could feel a whole lot different in a hurry. Cingrani can't get it together here. Any idea what the crowd eruption is about?
I'm thinking there was a goal in a local soccer team that people are maybe listening on the radio. I don't know.
You answered that without hesitation, like you knew.
Well, it was just because of the way a certain amount of fans cheered all at like once.
Caesar down the line. It's hooking foul, and it's strike 2. By the way, Albert Pujols has collected his 3,000th career hit. One of 4 players all time with 3,000 hits and 600 home runs, joining Mays, Aaron, and A-Rod.
Congratulations to Albert. The machine.
Yeah. Remember that old Sports Center commercial where they made him look like an actual machine?
Yeah.
Robot. Now then, in 2 on, Caesar grabs a new piece of lumber after Cingrani got in on him with strike 2. Now the 0-2 to the back door for strike 3, and 2 out in the 7th.
That slider has gotten hit hard so far this year, but that one, the bat's still on your shoulder, hard to hit it.
Freddie Galvis now. Perhaps the Padres need to send Clayton Richard up there. Remember, he had their only hit in a game earlier this season against San Francisco as a pinch hitter. Freddie Galvis bounces one past the mound behind the bag. Chase Utley steps on it. Buehler with 6, Cingrani with 1, the Padres with none. Check in with Alana.
Well, guys, you were talking about earlier that loud roar from the crowd. We know that the Mexican fans love baseball, but they certainly love their soccer. And apparently there was a final game. It was an inter-city matchup between two Monterrey teams, two Monterrey, Mexico teams, the Tigres and the Rayadas. Apparently the Tigres won the bout, so they were pretty happy about that, apparently.
Oral, you have very good ears, I guess. Very good feel for the crowd. Kaz Makita, second inning of work. Yasmani Grandal to start the 8th. Strike one.
Remember how many cars were in the parking lot as we were coming to this area? And I was wondering if there was another event, because it was like, how many? I wonder if that stadium or where they played was close by.
Yeah, it is very close by. There's also a bullfighting ring. One ball and 2 strikes. Dodgers tonight getting one in the first inning before Joey Lucchesi recorded an out. Back-to-back home runs in the second from Taylor and Hernandez, and then another run in the 6th on a Verdugo hit. And they've not given up a hit against San Diego through 7. 6 innings from Walker Buehler, 1 inning from Tony Cingrani. And all down on strikes for the first out of the 8th. It'll be likely down to a 3rd arm out of that Dodger bullpen for the 8th inning.
This delivery by Makita, you think the way the ball is in flight coming in that it would be like 90 miles an hour, but it's just high 70s, low 80s. Very deceptive. If you pick it up, maybe you can knock him around.
Chase Utley tripled and scored his first time up and takes ball 1. So 11 combined no-hitters in baseball history. The first one probably the most noteworthy. Came in 1917. And not the most noteworthy just because it was the first. But this was Red Sox against Senators. Babe Ruth started the game, and after opening the game with a walk, was ejected for arguing balls and strikes. Proceeded to punch the umpire, get thrown out of the building. Ernie Shore comes on. The runner that had reached on the walk was retired on a caught stealing. Shore retired 26 in a row himself. And for a while, it went in the books as a perfect game for Shore. And the rules changed on that over time, and now is looked at as the very first combined no-hitter.
It'd be interesting to see if that's the first combined no-hitter and the one and only combined no-hitter where the starting pitcher went less innings than anybody else. You can see a starter going 3 and then, getting hurt, and then they combine with 6 or something out of the bullpen. But 2 pitchers, and one did 99% of the work.
Farmer pops it foul. Other than one.
I think the more traditional ones would be the pattern that we're on here today. 5, 6, 7 innings from the starter, and the bullpen finishes it off.
One of the combined no-hitters that only took 2 pitchers actually came from 2 Mexican-born pitchers. Francisco Cordova, 9 shutout innings in a game that went extra innings. And then Ricardo Rinzon followed him with a 1-walk, clean inning, 10-inning no-hitter, 1997, where those 2 guys combined. Farmer bounces one to short. Freddie Galvis ends the inning. To the bottom of the 8th we go. It's been 7 no-hit innings so far. Let's see what the 8th has in store.
At 4 o'clock and see the 1988 World Series team before the Dodgers host the Reds at 6:10. If you're one of the first 40,000 fans in attendance, you'll also receive a 60th anniversary cap. It's all part of Alumni Weekend presented by Security Benefit. Visit Dodgers.com/alumni game.
Well, for the 8th inning, it'll be Yimi Garcia facing Manuel Margot. Then the pitcher's spot. And then Jose Pereira delivers a fastball for a strike. What'd you think of his first big league appearance in 2 years yesterday?
I thought he was unlucky. I thought he threw the ball very well, had great command, some seeing eye ground balls. And I think there are good things ahead of Yimi. They've taken him through all the paces to get him ready. He was throwing the ball in a fine way in spring training, but just really had not built him up completely with all the different disciplines that you want to see, from short rest to back-to-back days to multiple innings. But on the workload that he was on in spring training, even though it was on scheduled rest and then we'll do a side work and then now back out and all the things that he was put in front of him, he jumped over every hurdle with flying colors.
Here's his 1-2 to Margot. Fastball misses just by a touch. And it's 2-2.
He spoiled us early on when he was really locked in. He was a guy that was throwing 94, 96 mile an hour with pinpoint control.
Gets it by Margot for the first out of the 8th.
He has an unusual delivery as he looks like he's about to come over the top. He kind of comes at you with a little bit more of a level elbow, and the ball has a tendency to look like it's going to rise. I'll be interested to do some research on his spin rate because of the delivery, he has the illusion of it's kind of rising a little bit. If he's spinning it with that healthy arm now, that's going to be extra special.
Travis Jankowski trying to find the first Padres hit of the day. Backdoor slider for strike 1. 6 innings from Walker Buehler. 1 inning from Tony Cingrani. And now it's Yimi Garcia. Second game since April of 2016. Trying to become part of history. On the night that fittingly started with Fernando Valenzuela throwing the first pitch. No balls, 2 strikes. Fernando had his no-hitter against the Cardinals in 1990. Earlier in that day, Dave Stewart threw a no-hitter for the Oakland A's. And when Fernando walked by the video room on his way out to the bullpen to warm up, they let him know, hey, Fernando, did you see Dave Stewart finished off his no-hitter? And he said, oh, good for him. And you guys just watch one on TV there. You're about to watch one live. And then went out and did it.
Pretty special, huh?
Uh-huh.
Later that night, I was at a Janet Jackson concert and didn't know either one of them threw a no-hitter. I was on rehab for my arm. Found out that Fernando threw it. Went out and got a half a dozen LA Times. Had them all framed up for him and gave them to him as a gift that day when I got to the locker room.
Jankowski with a shot to short. Chris Taylor's got it. Boy, and he can fly and made it close, but the throw's in time, 2 gone.
This is getting exciting. I know it's a combined no-hitter and there may be a little less thrill in it because we're not rooting for one individual. But I'll tell you what, this is quite an accomplishment, something very rare in baseball that we've got a chance to see.
Gonna have to go through the top of the order one more time. Here's Jose Pereira, who is 0 for 2 with a walk. Here comes Garcia. Nice slider at the knees for strike 1. Ball on a strike. Padres are on the losing end of a combined no-hitter 1991 against the Atlanta Braves, a 1-0 loss. One and two. Kent Merker started that game. Went 6 innings. Mark Walters tossed 2 innings. And Alejandro Pena finished it off. able to get that combined no-hitter, even though Kirby Puckett had 4 at-bats during the game. Weren't many days where Kirby didn't have a hit. Garcia's 1-2. Varela sprays it foul.
What a treat for these fans here in Monterey to experience this. Make it extra memorable for everybody. The two teams, fans.
Got him swinging with a fastball, and it's 8 no-hit innings for the Dodgers. From Buehler to Cingrani to Garcia to the 9th. Out hitting the Padres 7-0.
Very good arm. Pretty devastating breaking ball when he gets it down. Throwing the ball very well. Right now, the Dodgers' focus, yeah, maybe a little more offense, but I think it's a little bit more focus on 3 outs before giving up a hit.
Alex Verdugo to lead off the 9th for the Dodgers, having driven in their latest run with an RBI single in the 6th. There's nobody currently warming down in the Dodger bullpen, although Adam Liberatore was starting to loosen last inning. Strike 1 on Verdugo. 6 innings for Buehler, 1 inning for Cingrani, 1 inning for Garcia. And it will likely be 4 Dodgers that will attempt to combine to throw a no-hitter tonight. It's a check swing punched up along third. Villanueva with a long throw. He's got no chance to get Verdugo. He's got his 2nd hit tonight.
Usually the opposite when a ball's hit this weakly. Pitcher is glad and the hitter is frustrated, but in this one, in that position, the hitter is glad and the pitcher is frustrated.
Jock Peterson to bat with a man on and nobody out, trying to add insurance here in the 9th inning. Dodgers in search of a 3rd consecutive win after losing 7 of 8. Peterson grounds it foul. Whoever it is in the 9th inning for the Dodgers, they'll have to earn it. Hosmer, Villanueva, Cordero, the do-ups. Peterson hits it foul, and it's 0-2.
Combination of Dodger pitchers now has 10 strikeouts. They've done that 169 times since 2016. #1 in Major League Baseball. They've always been really good at finding people that strike people out.
Peterson turns on it. High drive right center field, and it'll die into the glove of Margot. Looked a lot better off of the bat than some balls that traveled farther tonight. Peterson still searching for that second home run of the year. One away in the 9th.
The swing and the sound, I thought it was going to be out of here. And then I quickly glanced up at the flags and didn't see much wind. And so I guess he just didn't get it.
Cody Bellinger's first at bat tonight. Came on in a double switch last inning. Bellinger swings and misses for a strike. Now the Padres, the only franchise without a single no-hitter. Between Brooklyn and LA, they've thrown 22. None of them combined. Padres got close this year. Tyson Ross took one into the 8th inning against Arizona a couple of weeks ago. It's inside on Bellinger, 2-1. Two and two. The payoff to Bellinger. Verdugo runs, and Bellinger hits a teardrop over the mound. Galvis with a nice play to get him. 2 gone.
Not the easiest of plays. These wet conditions, you're running through the soggy dirt onto artificial turf that can get a little slippery, and then the ball's going to come up wet. Well played.
By the way, in Phoenix, game 1 between the Astros and the Diamondbacks, Garrett Cole throwing a 1-hitter through 7 innings, and the Astros rolling the Diamondbacks 8-0 as that game goes to the bottom of the 8th.
Sawed off the handle. Verdugo fortunate that got over the pitcher's head, or he'd have been doubled up. Nice visual of that.
That one kicks off of Lopez. Verdugo is going to take third. Thought about pushing the envelope and heading home, but Lopez was able to get to the ball.
That was easier for Alex Verdugo than the one over in Arizona that he did so well to get into scoring position. We were impressed with the youngster's attention to detail.
Two balls and no strikes. Chris Taylor drove a home run earlier tonight. Again, 8 combined no-hit innings for Dodger pitching tonight. Buehler, Cingrani, and Garcia. And it appears it'll be Adam Liberatore to handle the 9th. Taylor checks his swing on ball 3. Liberatore will face Hosmer, Villanueva, and Cordero. Going to be an interesting set of emotions in that Dodger dugout, and really for the whole roster, with the exception of Adam Liberatore, you'd think, where you have the excitement without the normally associated tension that comes with it.
Yeah, this is just not a normal regular season game. First of all, Monterrey, Mexico, playing the Padres. Fernando Valenzuela throws out the first pitch.
Taylor gets under this one, popped up to the right side. It's Pereira. And off we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Fasten those seatbelts. 3 outs away from history in Mexico. Cingrani to Garcia, combining for 8 no-hit innings in this one.
10 strikeouts combined. It's been an outstanding evening from the Dodger pitching staff. Some nice flashing of the leather in left field on a few lineouts. Kyle Farmer pitched in with a nice play at third base. And they have done a fine job shutting down this San Diego Padre lineup.
Adam Liberatore will try and be the 4th and final to do it. And he's going to have to earn it. Heart of the order coming up here. Maybe the hottest hitter in the National League, Eric Hosmer. Strike 1 to the outside corner.
Nice to see Adams' velocity creep up. His last outing struggled a little bit. He was down around 89, 90 miles an hour. We're used to seeing him throw 92 to 94.
Fouled off 0-2. Villanueva and Cordero to follow Hosmer. Liberatore is ready. 0-2. Popped foul. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and 1 gone in the 9th.
Five 3-up, 3-down innings for the Dodgers in this possible no-hit bid. Adam Liberatore starts the 9th off right.
And now it's Villanueva. All on the top step there in that Dodger dugout. The lone Mexican-born player on these two rosters takes ball 1. Eleven combined no-hitters in Major League history. Liberatore's 1-0. A cue shot foul. It's 1-1. Dodgers have 22 no-hitters in franchise history. None of those combined. Tonight they got 6 from Buehler. Single innings from Cingrani and Garcia, who's pitching in just his 2nd game in the last 2 years. And now it's Adam Liberatore handling the 9th. Here comes the 1-1. That's high. 2 balls and a strike. Here comes Liberatore. He misses ball 3. And it's kind of odd being in a neutral site for it, where you don't have either a home crowd living and dying with every pitch or the anxiety of a visiting team. A 3-1. Strike 2.
3-1 changeup. Not just giving in.
A pop fly into that very dark sky, which has given fielders issues tonight. Not this time. Jock Peterson's got it 2 away.
That ball's up there. Started after it got above the lights, like, are they really going to see it? And then Jock's expression kind of looking like he might have lost it. I got a little butterflies.
First run of the night scored that way when a ball was lost up in the sky and fell in. Francie Cordero, last hope for the Padres with 2 gone in the 9th inning. Upstairs, ball 1.
Longtime Dodger photographer John Suhu probably already planning, if they can finish this off, how he's going to get a group shot of the 4 guys.
Changeup just misses. 2-0.
Not the pressure of a perfect game on the line. Dodgers have 5 walks. It would be a nice feather in the cap of everybody in the organization, especially the pitching department headed by Rick Honeycutt.
That's a strike. 2-1. Libertor's ready to go. Here he comes with a 2-1. Swing and a miss. He's a strike away. The 2-2. He struck him out. The Dodgers have thrown a combined no-hitter on a night where Fernando Valenzuela throws out the ceremonial first pitch. Monterrey, Mexico can throw its sombrero to the sky.
It's a fantastic accomplishment. You can see this is just more than just high fives for a W. There are hugs going down the line. Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. 4 brilliant pitchers on the mound tonight. Buehler, Cingrani, Yimi Garcia, and Libertor. They threw 143 pitches, 91 for strikes, and nobody got a hit.
Adam Libertor finishes it off after Buehler goes the 6 innings. Cingrani goes 1. Garcia goes 1. Had the fireworks ready for regardless of what happened tonight. And the first regular season game in Monterrey, Mexico since the 90s. Where those fireworks become fitting as history is produced. The 12th combined no-hitter in the history of Major League Baseball.
What would have been a headline tomorrow